This interview is brought to you by REIT Cafe, a service of TREP.
This is REIT Talk, and I'm Sarah Quirk, the editor of REIT Cafe. Today we'll be speaking with Ted Rollins of Campus Crest Communities, who serves as the co-chairman of the board, the CEO, and co-founder of the company. Hi, Ted. How are you?
Hi. How are you doing today?
Good. So within the past few years, Campus Crest has been named one of the fastest-growing companies in the country by various publications. With almost 40 properties in your portfolio right now, what is your plan for continued expansion?
Well, if you look at our market, we have roughly 250 opportunities out there, of which we've already taken advantage of roughly 40. We continue to grow each year on an order of magnitude around 20 to 25%, and we see that continuing as we go forward. The demand is there for our product. Because if you keep in mind, we really provide a unique experience for the students, and we work on their residence life. We have a live-learn way we build our own product that helps, facilitate that. And so if you look across the country, we believe, for the foreseeable future that we can continue to grow at that rate.
Okay, great. And now, just to backtrack a little, you co-founded Campus Crest in 2004 in North Carolina, which is where you met the other co-founder, Mike Hartnett. But the company still seems to be primarily focused in the South. Is your goal to mainly serve that region, or to disperse your properties throughout the United States as you continue to grow?
Well, actually, we were started in the South, and we've now expanded to roughly 21 states, I believe was the last count. And so, yes, we are expanding. We're fairly methodical about it, so as you see us move into new territories, we'll typically build one property and then build a management cluster around that. But we have expanded into 21 states at this point, and quite honestly, we think we'll be in all the states ultimately. There's markets in each of those that's very viable.
And then I know that you guys kind of have a site criteria checklist that you use in property acquisition. What are some of the aspects of that?
Well, we look at markets that are growing, and by that I mean the enrollment. We look at the average tuition. We look at the division sport. We look at, what are the number of tenured professors, how much of the student body is housed on campus, and a lot of metrics like that. And then we also look at the local real estate market, the traffic patterns, the available land, and do quite a thorough underwriting to make a decision on a market.
And then with respect to the percentage of students living on campus versus off campus at a school, which is more appealing for you if you were considering building there?
Well, I think we look at, typically, it's going to be between 23 and 40% of the kids housed on campus. In a lot of the schools we serve, it's probably closer to 30 to 35%. And we use that as a benchmark because typically a lot of our product is next to campus. It's not on campus. And so we like that for that reason. Now, also, if it's a lower amount, there's an opportunity, and more these days, to build on campus as an alternate to what the campus can build, given that most of the states, 36 states, year over year have a net decrease in higher ed funding, and so they're capital constrained, and that creates an opportunity for our company to partner with them and build dorm rooms on campus as well.
Do you know what the percentages of properties that you have on campus versus next to or off campus?
Yeah, we have about, I would say, on the order of 5%.
5% on campus?
Yeah, and that's been growing. I mean, we've actually started focusing on that just because there's been so many schools we've served that have asked us to help them.
Okay, and does that affect lease expirations greatly, or do you have built-in rental escalations for these on-campus properties?
We basically, it doesn't impact lease expirations. I mean, really, I think if you have a project that's close to, that's right next to campus where you can walk, or a project on campus, generally the same economically from our standpoint. And I would make an argument even that if we were next to campus versus on campus, we might have a little bit better economics, because typically on campus you lease the land so you don't own it, and sometimes they require you to give them a percentage of the net. But for us, it's an opportunity, and I think we balance that in our overall expansion plan.
Okay, and What's an example? I know you talk a little bit about prototypical buildings and the Grove. Can you explain, is the Grove one of your prototypical buildings, and what is that?
Yeah, so if you look at our business, we built it around a brand, and the name of our brand is The Grove, and The Grove is the property and the residence lifestyle. And if you think we really focus on, I think what got us started on this is really trying to create an environment that was great for the student, wherein they had a whole life experience side, a social infrastructure that they built, and basic life skills when they were living with us. And if you look at the way we manage our properties, to the way they're laid out, I mean, it's all around our residence life program. And it's anything from outreach. We're doing blood drives. We're doing canned good drives. We're giving away things at Christmas and Thanksgiving. We're doing Habitat for Humanity, to social experiences, to competitive sport, to educational things. And we believe that at the center of what we do is providing an environment for these students to live and learn and create kind of life skills that complement their academic experience. And so if you look at our buildings, they're really built to house that and create areas that we can do that in. And the other thing about building a prototype and why we go through all of the work to have a vertically integrated company, in that we own a general contractor, we own a wholesale supply, we own a property management, we own an asset management. And the reason we do that is because we're so focused on delivering this quality of product and delivering it at a reasonable price, so we can charge a good rent that's fair for these kids and create a consistent product across, a diverse geography. And, it's interesting. I'll give you an example. We've been really focused on sustainability. And, if you look at how we focus on sustainability, I mean, it's not only in our building prototypes or our alternative energy, it's also in the residence life education programs on how to live sustainably. And today, that really resonates with our students, and I think we're giving them great skills, but we're also, for the office, we're living it in the construction group, and so we're able, because we own everything from beginning to end and control that process, to take concepts like that and roll them out in a very effective manner.
So the Grove is really focused on providing students with amenities they wouldn't normally have.
That's right, amenities, and really more importantly than the amenities, the life experience.
And to what extent do you use pre-assembled components in building new properties?
We don't use a lot of that. I mean, most of our stuff is a prototypical building that we've built over 600 times now, our typical residence building. And, we're able to order it. We call it a kit of parts, and so then we assemble it in the field. So they're not pre-assembled. I mean, maybe some of our trusses or some lumber comes pre-assembled, but most of the stuff, is part of this overall package that comes to the field and is delivered and constructed.
Okay. And then are any of your properties managed by third parties, or does Campus Crest manage all of them?
We manage all of them. We manage every property we have.
Do you think that you would potentially move to third-party management as you grow your portfolio?
No, I think it's our responsibility to continue to grow our property management company, and I can tell you our folks in that company are very focused on not outstretching their capacity and building capacity internally, and so we've had a great group, and they've been keeping up as we've grown. So I would tell you, and because of what we specialize in, because of the way we like to run them, and because of this resident life program that we put on, we just have to do it ourselves. We just don't think it can be done by somebody else.
Okay. And then what percentage of your properties are joint ventures with the universities or colleges that you have properties on?
Well, we have, I'm going to tell you, it's probably, this is really kind of close but not accurate. It's about 20%, 25%, depending on when you count. So we typically own the majority of our properties.
Okay. And does that number coincide at all with the number of properties you have on campus grounds, or does that not affect your ability to build on the campus property?
No, that doesn't affect that. That's a completely different metric.
Okay. And then last month, you announced 3 new projects that are slated for 2013-2014 delivery, and I noticed that each of the schools are located that the projects are located at have really high enrollment numbers and the units have higher bed counts than in your existing portfolio. Is this the type of project we should expect going forward, these kind of large-scale buildings?
Well, that's a great question. We actually have also another probably 3 to 5 projects we're going to announce coming out here towards the end of the year that are going to begin as well. And so we look at it on averages. And let me take this in 2 bites. Really, first of all, the enrollment. These do have higher enrollments, but generally we look at an average enrollment of our properties. You know, when you take them all combined, we're going to be somewhere on the order of 15,000 net enrollment. The ones, you know, like Colorado State and Ball State and Oklahoma, those are the higher ones. We do have some ones that are lower enrollment. So on average, we're generally sticking with what we're kind of our knitting that we've done. And then with respect to the buildings, every year since we opened the company, we've increased the number of beds. And really what we've tried to do there is find a balance between the total beds and what our operating metrics we really ultimately wanted them to be, and also given the broader market context where we were. And so, you know, we've evolved into this higher bed count in the mid-600s. And so I would tell you, you'll see that going forward. I mean, that's something we've just started to fine-tune over a few years, and I think we've arrived at a very good balance of beds.
With respect to the live-learn kind of program, do you find that having a higher bed count per building is more beneficial to this kind of community building?
Well, what we've tried to do is size the beds to match the amenities, to match the programs, and so we feel pretty comfortable about it. And keep in mind, we also manage them with community assistance, which is a lot like an RA. In the traditional dorm setting. So our students have a very good interaction not only with our property staff but also with each other. And so we found that, you know, whether it's 500 or 600, I'm not sure it really makes a difference, but what's important is for us to maintain kind of that staffing ratio and maintain those residents' life functions and make them important in the lives of our residents.
So you do have staff on site at all times?
Oh yeah, so that's one of the things that's non-negotiable. I mean, we have not only a professional staff of general manager, sales manager, and maintenance manager, but we also have, and depending on the number of beds, we have typically 9 to as much in some cases as I believe 18 community assistants that are our touch points for the students. And so they basically are, you know, responsible for a subset of those students, and it's the contact point. And so, you know, it's a very effective way of servicing those residents and making sure they feel like we're engaged and keeping them engaged with the community.
So you do try to replicate dorm life rather than, you know, apartment life in the real world?
Well, I would say it's a combination. You know, it's you know, you get some independent living, but you also have a social infrastructure. And what we try to do is create that college experience with the students so they have activities, things to do, they make their friends there, they socialize there, and what we try to just get them involved in that community. And that makes happier residents. We give them life skills. We help them balance between academics and personal life, and we think it's a very effective program.
Yeah, I'm sure that takes additional, I don't want to say burden, but work away from the universities.
Yeah, we in fact, we integrate with all our schools. I mean, it's critical to have a relationship with the schools, especially, you know, we're taking care of their students, and we feel a very high level of responsibility, not only to take care of them, but to also make sure that we're integrated with the schools so that they, you know, if there's issues that come up at school or issues that come up on our property, that both of us are available to address whatever comes up.
That's great. And then my last question for you is just if you have any other major goals that you hope to achieve either by the end of this year or by the end of 2013?
Well, I think for us, it's continuing to roll out the prototype and continuing to gain market share where we are. And we've had a big focus on operational excellence. We've had some great results. And we continue to recruit some of the top folks and train some of the top folks out there. And for us, it's about advancing our employees and making them successful. I mean, we've got some of the best and brightest team members. So one of my primary focuses is to continue to help them be successful and bring new people and keep the ones that we have. And then, you know, broadly speaking, other than just the business side, we have a large outreach component of our business that we're involved with organizations across the country and so we're pretty active. So we believe that doing good is good business. And so between our social outreach programs and our sustainability programs, I think as we continue to grow and our teams continue to do great things, it's just one of the focuses that we have.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us, and good luck in the coming year.
Thanks. You have a good day.
This interview was brought to you by REIT Cafe, a service of TREP.